Hello everyone, CrystalFissure here, and welcome to another edition of ISGP Talk, Season 3. Today we are joined by Wituz, aka Frederik. Welcome, my friend. Welcome to the talk.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, this has been a long time coming, like literally almost a year. You expressed interest in this last year, and then we just ran out of time. I don't know. It was just there was just so much going on in the second rounds and stuff like that. And then I asked you a bit later, like, do you want to do it? And you thought, nah, it's been long enough. Let's just save it for next time, you know?
Yeah, there was a long time where I wasn't involved very much, but now I thought it would be a good time to do it again because, things are going right now. So, yeah.
That's right. It's So you actually, first things first, you first made your debut in Spyro Speedruns Cup. And you are, I guess, at least among myself and Angus, known as the host slayer. As in, you defeated me and you defeated Nintendo64. So congratulations on that.
Well, thanks. It was also pretty unexpected because I remember racing Cameo and saying, "Oh, you're racing Angus next, and he's pretty good." And then if you beat him, it's probably gonna be CrystalFissure, and he's also pretty good. So, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. The race that we had, and for anyone that hasn't seen it, I highly recommend it because it was like one of those chaotic calls ever. I remember it was like Al Malloy, the Rixer came back, who's from Denmark, and also Fraser was drunk during it. I don't know if you've watched it recently, but it's an absolute mess. It's so good. It's like one of the best races of that tournament, I feel.
Yeah, I was so confused during that call because I didn't really know anybody in there.
Classic ISGP alienation, you know, where we just throw you into the middle of something and you're expected to know, you know, Yeah, that was great fun. But then, and then with that one, who were you eliminated by? Was it Luke? Or was it...
Yeah, it was Luke.
Yeah, the unstoppable
bingo.
Force. That's right, yeah. And again, you were a newer guy. You hadn't had as much experience. Really, you wouldn't have had any experience in bingo, wouldn't have you?
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, like, when you get a bingo, you have to root on the fly, and I suck at that.
Yeah.
So I had to have a goal, and I can't.
That's right. Yeah, no. So your journey with ISGP 2 was, I would say, as well. Just to sort of go back to the past before we get to Spyro Speedruns Cup 2021. You, I would say, would have been the biggest victim of the replacements coming through, like such as Cola Pro and Tooney, and I think it ended up being basically Tooney that got you knocked out. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's how I remember it as well. Yeah, final battle versus Tooney.
Yeah. He, that ended up making what is talked about in your group as well. Probably the toughest group of ISGP2. Like if you think about it, it was probably, if you had to pick, it was the hardest group.
Yeah, I felt like it was a very competitive group. But at the same time, also being a fun group, we could do the head bash stuff like Daniel and I did. And yeah.
Of course, one of the biggest highlights. Of course, as well, when Max was in before he had dropped out as well, you did the whole, you did a race. You do a race with Max? Yeah, it was the live one, wasn't it? Yeah, the No I Lived.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and many other hilarious quotes. So that was great. But you were very unlucky. And then moving to ISGP, the Spyro Speedruns Cup, it looks like, as of now, as of the uploads, it is going to come down to your final race. We'll talk about that in a sec. But what are your general thoughts on Group Sugiura, your group for this tournament?
I think it's a fairly balanced group, and I really enjoyed all the races so far. There's been a few surprises. I think Dr. Crusher was pretty unexpected. He's really been crushing it, if you can say.
Oh yeah.
But I'm surprised to see that he won that many games. And I didn't practice much for the run against him. I was just surprised by that guy. And of course, Daniel Davidson as well keeps crushing it as well.
That's right. I mean, maybe his username should be Dr. Crusher 2. You can't take Doctor's name, but the thing is that the improvement in the group from everyone, in fact, if for example you were facing Daniel Davidson in ISGP2, start of that, I'd say that there was very, very much a good chance of you defeating him, but he has improved so much that he's just become such a better racer that it made it very, very hard for you to be able to win that. Even though you are a good racer, Dan at this point feels like he's almost unstoppable in many cases. And then of course Amelia as well, who didn't make it through in ISGP2 as well, very much improving, and then we'll cover your race with her in a sec. But yeah, so you've definitely had it, and Lucas as well, who is also quite improved from the first time. While he hasn't got the wins that he may have expected due to a bit of bad luck, he is also very good, and that's going to be a really, really tough. I think it's going to be a really tough race for both of you guys.
Yeah, for sure. I've also prepared a bit for Lucas, so yeah. Hopefully that's...
And I'm sure he's prepared for you, because he knows that if you guys lose, that's what I was going to say from the start, is that if you guys, the winner of that race will go through. That's it. He will get the 4th place spot. So that's a lot of pressure, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just for fun, so I guess yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I'm glad that you take it that way. Exactly. It's all a bit of fun. We don't want you being too upset if you do lose. But if you win, you're into the next round, and it should be very interesting. 4th place spot being put in against a 1st placer. So it's tough. If you're in 4th place, there's definitely an uphill battle. If you make it through, that's kind of by design. We've sort of done that because it's like, if you finish first, you should be, I think, adequately rewarded. So, there's all different people you could get. You could be unlucky enough to get like Yes Wally 1 if he finishes top of his group, or Charity Royale, or Dessert Monkey. So it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, for sure.
But fun. Hopefully you have fun. Hopefully there's not too much rage quitting. And what game are you doing actually? Have you decided that? Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing Spyro 1. First to beat the 3 first bosses and 100% the world levels.
Yep. Very good.
So yeah.
That's pretty good. That's a good race. Definitely under 35 minutes. What would be your favorite Spyro game? I've never actually asked you that, actually.
Yeah, that's a good question, because I think it's Spyro 2, mainly because the game is so broken, and you can skip literally everywhere, and I think that's what I like about it. The double jump is there. Yeah.
You need to try out the, I don't know if you've seen this, you need to try out the Spyro 3 double jump hack. Because there's something where you can, in the code, I think it was Ethical and another guy basically worked on it, and they're like Spyro hackers, Spyro modders, and they've ported it into 3, and so it basically makes 3 feel like almost like a totally different game, kind of like 2, because you can, get to so many more, jumps, so many more spots.
Yeah, Dan and I actually did a run with that, and yeah, it was so easy to get used to.
That's right. That's exactly right. And then because you had Headbash Apocalypse as well, which is like referencing the whole Sorry, I completely skipped my mind. That's right. Yeah, because it's basically it was like an improvement on the first run. The first run was from the first tournament, from your last tournament was Headbash Apocalypse, and then since then this new thing has been discovered. So basically, it was like an extreme version of the first race.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but luckily people shouldn't say head bash in the call, and we had to do a head bash because otherwise we wouldn't have finished. But yeah,
that's right. Yeah, I know. With a 35-minute time limit, you're very much going to be restricted. If you have people calling out, you'd probably be 35 minutes stuck in like 2 levels. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but no.
Yeah. the double jump I really enjoy. It was like you get used to it so quickly. Like when I play Spyro 3 now, it's almost like, why can't I do that?
Yeah, that's right. I know. I've done that because I did a race against Desert Monkey with double jump, and yeah, like when I went back to just playing it generally, like I was just playing it one day, I instantly, I get the controller up, I try and do the jump, I'm like, nah, can't do it. This sucks. I would love to see it in Spyro 1 as well. That would be mind-bending to me, because that's a totally different game, in terms of like controls and gameplay and stuff.
Yeah, for sure, it would change the game completely.
Yeah, and it would make things like certain skips that you can do with it. Like there are certain skips where you can like do that extra bit of. There's like it's hard to explain, but there's like in Spyro 1, there's like this jump where you jump and you charge, and then you kind of get this extra height. I don't know how to properly describe it. That is one way of being able to get to some tough like skip glides, like in 80% and 120%, but an actual double jump would make that so much easier. So hackers, I'm calling you out. It's time. It's time to make it happen.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do it. Now, so speaking of hacking, because this is something that we've been wanting to talk about as well for ages. So people, I think I had seen something to do with like your website or channel or something like that years ago, because I was like always looking up PlayStation 1 hacking and stuff like that, and you have a website which I'll put a link to in the description. So can you tell us a little bit about what you do outside of Spyro speedrunning?
Yeah, I have a channel where I make tutorials about how to do homebrew for the PlayStation 1.
Homebrew. Yeah.
Yeah, and how you can make your own PS1 games and make them work on the console and burn discs and stuff like that. Messing with the old libraries from the 90s and stuff like that.
What was that thing called? That homebrew kit? What was it called? It was called like, it started with a Z or something like that.
Yeah,
Net
Yeah.
So
I think it's pronounced that way.
Yeah, something like that. I've got it. Yeah. So what kind of got you interested in wanting to into like doing that with PS1? Like, what about the PS1 interested you?
Well, I think it's a great console. I think nostalgia plays a big role in it, if not all of it. Like I played so many PS1 games as a kid, and growing up and learning about programming, I just Googled one day if you could make games for it, and you could, and that was how I got into it.
Yeah. And so, what are some of your favorite? I guess if there's anything for us to look at to kind of search up, what would you recommend we look up to see the power of the Wituz engine?
There's not an engine like that, but if you want to get into PS1 homebrew, you can just watch my tutorials.
Yep.
They covered like pretty much from the start, I think. I'm not the best programmer as well. I'm also kind of new to this, so a lot of the stuff is fairly outdated already.
Okay. Fair. Well, I know you're on GitHub though, aren't you? You can, the website with and we'll link to your website, of course. So, I guess with hacking, have you been able to make any of your own like small games?
Yeah, I've been doing small games like Pong and awesome. Copying old games, trying to make them work. Yeah. Basic sprite stuff, drawing, sound effects, very basic stuff. Just trying to wrap my head around how the console works.
So I'm guessing that there's it's probably not possible. Is it actually? As the question, is it possible to make full 2D games and 3D games with these with these tools, or is it a little bit out of the depth considering that back in the day developers had whole systems in place to build everything?
Yeah, it's very possible because you have access to all the tools that they used back then, and now you can use new compilers as well.
Yeah.
Not that does much, but you can have access to better debugging and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very possible if you want to spend the time learning the system, of course.
Yeah.
That's the main part of it. It takes a while.
Yeah, that makes sense. So is there any kind of crossover in skill from being able to do like modding and editing PlayStation 1, building your own like little games, and like actually hacking an existing game, say Spyro, say Crash Bandicoot? Like, does it have any crossover, like with hex editing and stuff like that?
Yeah, because it has and hasn't, I would say, because when you make a game, you build it from the ground up. But if you are to like make a mod, you would go the other way around and try to figure out like how is this game made, and then try to see where is stuff in memory and what can we get there and what can we modify. So yeah, it's a bit different, but yeah. Some of it crosses over.
So what you're saying is that with a little bit of luck and me potentially overworking you can be the guy to put in the Spyro 1 double jump code. That's what you've just offered, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
All right.
Well, maybe.
I'll give you $1,000 and work starts tomorrow. All right, and it's hopefully that's worth your while. No, I know that definitely very, very interesting. I'll link to your website because there's like as you said, lots and lots of tutorials and stuff like that. And is it sort of part of a greater scene? Like is this a big scene, or is it sort of an underground scene?
Yeah, I would say the scene has been growing. It's been an underground scene for a while, but recently it's been growing a lot. And people taking it further and further, and actual games are being made at this point. So that's pretty cool.
That's fantastic. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And of course, I mean, definitely. At least in the ISGP server as well. Feel free to link all this stuff as well in game discussion and stuff like that, because it's very much interesting. I think a lot of people in our server will be very interested because there's such a, as you said before, it's like why PS1? Why not? It's nostalgia, and it is just such a fantastic console. And I think that it's just fantastic that there's actually the ability to do this, even if it may not be these full like Spyro-esque games. It's gonna get there one day, just like it did with the N64, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the N64 like maybe is it easier to do? Because I noticed that like at least with hacking and stuff like that, with emulation, it definitely seems like N64 is easier to make customizations. Is that because it's just a simpler console potentially?
Oh, I actually don't know much about the N64, but I know a guy who makes stuff for it, and he says it's fairly complicated, and sometimes you have to write assembly for the N64 as well. So yeah, I don't know.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, no, I'm definitely interested. Although, as you can tell, I barely know a single thing about it. But a very interesting aspect of I guess the hacking and homebrew and stuff, because for me, like all I've really sort of covered is like Spyro stuff, not the actual console. So I know a lot about the Spyro hacking scene, I guess, but I don't know anything really about the wider console. But yeah, very, very interesting stuff. So be sure, do you update your site very often? Like, do you keep things up to date, or are you more would you recommend going to your YouTube channel instead?
I don't update my site very often.
Disgraceful. Frederik, I can't believe it. I'm advertising an outdated site. Oh.
You are actually, I can't deny that. There's another guy called Modern Vintage Gamer. He's really cool, and also does tutorials for like retro dev. I think he does for the Game Boy, the original Game Boy right now. So yeah.
Oh, wow. Damn, that's fantastic. So what about this is probably, I don't know if you don't know this, it's fine. Do they do this with like modern PS2 consoles and further on, or is PS1 sort of as far as it goes at like a competent level?
Yeah, I think there's stuff for the PS2 and 3 as well.
Whoa, 3?
Yeah.
Jeez.
But a 3, I think it's more of a flexible console because yeah, you
Because of
can.
Unity and stuff, and like the
Yeah,
engines.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
more. I guess. Yeah, I mean, back in the day, you know, like all these games, they made their own engine, like Vicarious Visions, you know, who did Crash and you know, some other games over the years, Skylanders. They actually had their own engine that I think they built for the PS2 era, and they used that for, you know, for like a decade. I remember that, and I'm pretty sure that Crash Insane Trilogy was built on that, and then or sorry, Crash Insane Trilogy was the first one to like move to their, you know, to Unreal, I think it was. So yeah, it's very interesting how many, and like, you know, Naughty Dog, you know, they had to build their own engine so they could make Jak and Daxter work properly, you know, with the no loading screens. Ratchet and Clank as well, I think they borrowed stuff from. So yeah, it's very. I guess that's a good point, is that when you get to these more modern technology, it's a bit more normalized now because there are these great engines out there.
yeah, for sure. But they're still trying to push it. I mean, when the PS2 came out, it was a lot of new hardware, but they still had, like, for instance, in Jak and Daxter 2, when you were flying around in the ships.
Yeah.
The city is constructed as such. It's complicated enough for the game to load. So that's why it's like kind of quirky to go into, because then you don't just fly straight through it, because then the game can load.
Oh, that's why it's kind of like twist and turny. Is that what you mean? Like with the,
yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I could talk about this forever and bumble through my way of knowing very little. But before we go, you made an order a while back now for an ISGP shirt. Can you show us what happened?
Yeah, and so I wanted to wear the ISGP merch today, but yeah, I ordered it from Teespring, and instead of getting I got got this shirt.
let me read it out. You can't scare me. I have a crazy sister who happens to cuss a lot. She has anger issues and a serious dislike for stupid people. Mess with me, she will slap you so hard that even Google won't even be able to find you. That is the most incredible ISGP shirt I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I think it's the worst T-shirt I've ever seen as well. So yeah.
By the way,
my sister. It's just great.
Oh well, we will apparently. So I'm pretty sure, not to put you on blast here, but I think you could contact them and tell them you got the wrong shirt. They'd just send you another one for free. So
yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, just do that. You'll get a free one. Say, I ordered this, I got this. Give me my free shirt. What one did you get? Like the ISGP 2 one with the names on the back?
I think it was ISGP 1 actually. It's been a while since I ordered it. So.
Bloody hell, disgraceful. I can't believe Teespring would do you like this. It's a disgrace.
Yeah.
But thanks, Wituz. It's been a pleasure, and good luck with your last race. It's going to be epic. Seriously, it's going to be like, it's literally, this is the final race of Sugiura, so it's going to be so interesting to see if you make it through or if Lucas makes it through. So it's a big one.
Yeah, and thanks to you as well. It's been really interesting to talk.
It's been interesting to watch me know nothing about hacking, but yes, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Thank you, Wituz, and have a good day.
You as well. Bye.